before everyone goes to the tea break, we are going to talk about creative. Before doing that, I'll just quickly introduce myself and the company. So I'm the director of growth at Triple Dot. We are a gaming company based here in London, but we also have offices around the world. We have recently been named a unicorn, so that's very exciting. We also happen to be the fastest growing company in Europe, according to Financial Times. Here are my three games. So the casual games that are monetized through ads, people play them for a long time, and they're kind of popular. So here we received a lot of awards. This fastest growing thing, FT1000 VR on the top of that chart, so I'm really proud of that. And I'm also really proud of our team. Everyone Triple is amazing, and our creative team, which is relevant today, is particularly great. So now that we gotten that out of the way, let's actually talk about creative. And so we have the classic issue. We made the game, so now how do we get people to play it? And I think the situation that I encounter quite often, and particularly if you're a product manager who built a product and you are very proud of the features that you have and all that, it's kind of easy to go down the road where we're saying that, okay, so we show this very specific thing to people and they'll want to play a game. But before you do all that, you have to actually consider the context. And just to know that we are not talking about retargeting today, just about acquiring new users, so user acquisition. And so you have to really consider who is it you're actually targeting. Is it people who already made the decision to play that particular game or app in that exact moment that they're watching ads, or is it literally everyone else? I think maybe you're lucky and maybe you happen to target with your Facebook ads someone who's scrolling down the news feed, someone who is thinking, oh, like, I should totally play a solitaire game right now. But I think that's going to be the minority. So what we actually want to focus on is people who are not ready yet. They're not ready for a game. They're not ready for even seeing the ad. And it is our job to capture attention and to actually sell them on the very concept of the game itself and ultimately understand what is it we're actually selling. And so like I already said, even if our game is completely unique or you have a very unique feature, for example, there's Clash Royale and you made a unique twist on Clash Royale, which is you're not just playing cards, but you also have to solve a Sudoku puzzle to play a card. Just an absurd example, but stay with me. It might be that people will probably be interested in that, and they might want to come play a game because of that. But before you do any of this, you actually have to explain that what this game is and why it is actually fun. Why is it worth it to them? They're not choosing from a catalog of similar games. There's no list where it says game 1, game 5 for up 1, game up 2, and so on. It just, you don't have to stand out in that. Instead, you have to start in the beginning and you have to sell the person the very idea of playing the game. And also, as I think quite important, advertising is based on emotion, so you have to showcase how the game will make them feel, or the app in that instance. If it boils down to a very simple slide, I'm going to say that the USP, or like rather what we're actually selling for games, is fun. So people just want a nice way to spend the time before they have to consider, oh, like I want to play an RPG or I want to play a puzzle game. So you have to showcase that here in this moment, you're seeing something that's actually fun and that you're going to have a good time with. And then for apps, it's actually very similar at the end of the day, because every app is going to solve a particular issue for the user. It's going to have some utility, but the emotion that you are speaking to here is the happiness that the person will feel hopefully when that issue is ultimately solved. And this is very important. I understand this might be a bit presumptuous, but I think you really have to keep this in mind when you're doing creative and when you're promoting your game or app in any way. And yeah, let's talk about some do's and don'ts. So we already established that you need to really convey a sense of fun and why someone would play the game in the first place. And they also have to understand how it actually works, what it you actually do, or what sort of feature, what sort of ultimate utilities the app has. It's also quite important to focus on just one thing at a time. So don't just bombard people with a bunch of points. So don't show 10 things at the same time. Just focus on one. Maybe it will help with clarity. You also have to make it easy to understand what is the person themselves is actually going to be doing when playing the game. So this is why all those hand concepts are quite popular. You have to show exactly what it feels like to be playing the game rather than doing something abstract. And also features, like I said that features on their own are not necessarily that important, but they're still important because once you establish that it looks good, it's fun, and understand how it works, you can make additional selling points on top of that. So, wow, it's fun, and you can also train different dragons. You can also play different levels. All that is working. What I'm saying is that that can't be the only thing that you're showing. And also point about subtle changes to gameplay. So you don't always have to show exactly what's going to happen in the game. You can change it somewhat. You can present it in different ways so it's clear and easy to understand. In my experience, people don't usually mind if that happens, so don't get too stuck up on that. But the key point is that the person understands what's actually happening. And then I don't think anyone should assume that the person that is just going around their business a moment ago is going to immediately understand what your game is. So you have to convey that very clear. So that's one of our first don'ts. On the same note, you can't over-focus on specific things. Don't start the video by saying, oh, like you can press that button to do this thing and get currency, because none of that has any actual value or context for someone who never played your game before or used your app before. And then also, if you rely too much on audio explanation, you think, oh, like we have a great narrator who's going to explain all the like 6 or 10 points we're showing in the video, that is not going to work. Now maybe it's shifting a bit with TikTok ads and so on, but mobile advertising is still not really sound reliant. More people now have sound on than they had before, which is exclusive to some platforms. But by and large, if you go to Facebook, if you go to ad networks, no one is going to listen. So don't rely on that. Subtitles can be okay, but you also have to consider that that's a lot of reading to do. And then some people also go, oh, like, this is great, let's make a series of ads. Let's make it so we show one thing in this ad, and then people remember it by a second one, and it's like a complete story, so we win by that. Don't do that. You only have the present moment. That's all you have. So don't expect that people will remember anything that they might have seen before that, and that might not even be the case. I also have some experience with fast apps, so I've been very focused on games here, so I explain how it will go for an intermittent fasting app. So again, here you have multiple fasting, multiple types of fasting. You can also implement the timer that you have in the app multiple ways, but none of that ultimately matters. What you are selling here is just weight loss and also general health. And like I said, the emotion of that is the person will feel good about it. So this is something that you have to focus on the ad, and which I think is your ultimate USP here as well. Fasting itself is just means to an end. It's not something that someone dreams of doing. They want to achieve something by doing that. So you have to remember that, and you have to really convey that sense of you're going to be healthier, you're going to lose weight, you're going to be happy because of that in your ads, which is a dream that you're selling. In summary, don't focus on the features, don't be over-specific. Instead, focus on how the user will feel after installing the game or using a product. Entertained and having achieved the goals, and hopefully happy. If you can get to that, you get the user. And it's going to be great for everyone. That's it. Thank you much. Yeah, so Triple Studios, we're doing a lot of things. We're hiring, we're doing M&A, so if anything sounds interesting, please reach out, don't hesitate. Thank you very much.